Okay, today we're checking out the Boss MD-500, their new multi-foot switch modulation pedal. Before I get started, a huge thank you to Mega Music for making this happen and giving me the 3 500 series pedals to check out. There's going to be a series of videos over the next couple of weeks with these coming out, so check them out. You can see the link on your screen right now, and a huge thank you to those guys. Anyway, diving into this pedal, the front panel, you can see we have a couple of really easy to access switches. We've got a big rate or value switch, depth, effect level, and for each different modulation mode, these two controls can control 2 different parameters each, and we also have, of course, a bunch of different modulation effects that we can choose from here. So you'll notice that the form factor is very different to the old Boss 20 series. You know, they had like the Chorus Ensemble 20 and the DD20, which I still own and love. That's an amazing delay pedal, and a bunch of other things like that, which were more in the sort of classic, they look like 2 Boss pedals glued together, but here we have a far more streamlined, really sturdy. This is so satisfying to just hold in your hand. It's nice and compact and really dense, and it's also feature packed. So we've got all the normal modulation effects you would imagine, you know, chorus, flanger, vibratos, tremolos, uni-vibes, all those kind of things, and then a bunch of the cool Boss special effects. I'm really excited because it's got the Boss multi-overtone pedal built into here. There's a slicer, a filter, a ring modulator, and they have even modeled the classic Boss Dimension D rack mount unit and you know, the old little pedal with 4 buttons on it. So that's happening. On the back panel, we've got stereo ins and outs and an input for basically an extra expression pedal or a control pedal, as well as USB connectivity and MIDI in and out. And that means that this is going to work perfectly if you're using like a switching system, or you're using modeling gear, or basically, you know, you could use this with a huge rack system as well. It's essentially a super high-powered rack unit in a pedal format. The thing that I really like about this though is it runs on around 200 milliamps of power on 9 volts. So if you're just using basically any stock standard, you know, brick style power supply, I'm using a T-Rex fuel tank, you'll be able to run not just 1 but 3 of these off it, and I've been able to run all 3 of them off the same power supply without any extra noise, without any degradation or anything. So that's really cool, because, you know, the main competitors for these pedals are obviously very thirsty when it comes to current. So that's what's going on there. Feature wise, we have these edit and exit buttons, as well as up and down scrolling to let you go through all the advanced parameters. So that's the very brief overview. Let's get in depth with this and have a listen to some of the sounds, because there are some amazing modulation sounds in there, and I want to show you guys how it works. So let's get on with that. Again, thanks to Mega Music, and if you enjoy this video, please hit subscribe, check out my channel, because all the other 500 series videos are going to be up very soon, as well as a bunch of other gear reviews. And as always, let me know what you think in the comments. Let's start a discussion about this and yeah, basically chat about the pros and cons of these pedals. But for now, let's hear it. Here's the dry sound. And let's engage the effects, starting with the chorus. Okay, so there is a very brief tour of all the different effect modes. Let's just get into the, I guess, the standards. Let's have a look at what we can do with the chorus effect. If we hit edit twice, we can get into the deep parameters on there. This first control mode actually lets you select between all the modes as well, which is really nice. So let's have a listen to some of the different chorus types. This is the prime chorus. So as you can see there, we got that prime chorus and the vibrato mode and the chorus mode from the CE1, but the really exciting one is this tri-chorus. Let's crank the effects level up on this one, as well as the depth. And I can sort of do that Alan Holdsworth, Michael Landau kind of tri-chorus thing. The CE1 mode sounds awesome on this. Have a listen to that. And then we can choose what we want the tapped subdivision to be. We can also choose the tempo and the rate, as well as the depth, the effect level, which are also accessible with these knobs. We can also just fine tune them here in the advanced menu. We've got the low level, the low frequency, the high level, and the high frequency. So what they will let us do, for example, is accentuate where the chorus acts in a particular range of the guitar. So for example, if I bring the high level up at 3.15 kilohertz, you know, there's quite a marked difference there between the two modes. It's really subtle with the high turned down, and then it's far more brilliant and bright with it turned up, as you would expect. Same thing with the low frequency. Then we can also control the amount of direct level going through, which is really nice. And we have this preamp switch. What does that do? Let's have a listen. And that is emulating the preamp that's in the original CE1 pedal. So that's another cool, really nice little feature. You can also adjust the amount of preamp gain and the preamp level there. So that's really cool that they actually went ahead and modeled that. Then we have the initial phase. So this is pretty cool. If we set this, say, to 90 degrees, let's do that. The chorus is going to sound markedly different. And what that is going to do is basically give us the effect of sort of like widening the sound, which, you know, a lot of the time when you use chorus, that's what you want to do. We've got a tempo hold, which is pretty cool, and we've got the output mode, which we can choose between mono and stereo, which is pretty cool. Then we can also adjust the output gain. So lots and lots of advanced controls. That is only the chorus control there. So we have similar choices for other modes. For example, with the flanger, we've got this prime G flanger. So they both sound really cool. Again, we've got similar parameters going on with the flanger. Well, similar thing with the phaser. We can choose between this prime G or prime B, as well as a script phase, which is pretty cool. The script phase sounds really nice. Have a listen to that. And they have even modeled the fact that an original Phase 90 kind of boosts your signal and adds a little bit of grit. So the phaser is really, really nice in this one. I'm not a huge fan of the original like Boss phasers. I'm an MXR Phase 90 guy. So the fact that you can get a Boss pedal that does like the classic CE1 thing, as well as flanging, as well as a script phaser, that's pretty amazing. Moving right along, the vibe, we can choose between two types, either chorus or vibrato, much like on a real Univibe. The vibrato setting is really nice. Moving right along, we've got the actual vibrato mode. We have a couple of options here with we've got a couple of options here with the vibrato, either the prime mode or the scanner mode. This is what each of them sound like. So the scanner mode is far more subtle and the prime mode is far more pronounced. Let's move on and have a quick look at the next mode, which is a tremolo. Again, we've got prime T, prime P, a twin, which I'm guessing is probably based on different Fender amps, and deluxe. Let's have a listen to each of those. And that is great for spooky tremolo effects. I really like the twin mode there. So moving right along, we have the dimension mode. Again, this is pretty simple. It's based on the Roland Digital Dimension D. Basically, there's only 4 modes based on the 4 switches on the original unit. I like number 4 the most, but number 1's cool too. That is probably my favorite mode, number 4 on the Dimension out of the whole pedal. So moving along, we get the weird stuff, the ring modulator. This can do everything from just sort of like glitch to octave style effects, depending on where you set the frequency, as well as the modulation depth. So let's have some fun with that. And again, the ring modulator is kind of the king of the weird effects, so we don't have to do too much with that one at all. I'm not that interested in that. The rotary mode is really nice. We basically just have a fast and a slow setting. Here's what the fast mode sounds like. we've got individual controls for the slow and the fast speed. Again, really well thought out there. Moving right along from the rotary, we've got the filter. So a couple of different filters. We can have auto wah G, auto wah B, a touch wah, and there's two modes there, as well as a pattern filter. So let's go through those. Here's a pattern filter. So you can see that we've got a bunch of different patterns, and we can select between either a low pass, a high pass, or a band pass filter. I'm a big fan of the band pass filter for this kind of thing. And that's great if you're a prog rock fan. The touch wah is really, really cool too. I'm so into this. Have a listen to this straight away. And again, we've got a choice between high and low pass filters, and we can set the polarity as well. So that is a brief look at the filter block. Oh, that's the touch wah, and we've also got the auto wah, which is just going to move along depending on the rate we set. So let's set that a bit slower. Alright, let's get this done. Let's move along to the next one. We've got the slicer. Again, where you set the rate and where you set the pattern is so important here. So and that one is really cool to combine with different delays if you've got the DD-500 or any other delays. So we are almost through all the features. The last one is the overtone based on the Boss multi-overtone, and this basically has an upper, lower, and unison level. I really, really like bringing down the lower level, so it's kind of like a sub-octave kind of thing, and cranking the upper level. So we get this. We can also control the amount of detune. I like a lot of detune there. It's sort of like an organ or even electroharmonics pog. And hiding in that overtone mode is a stereo pitch detune, which is great if you want to cop that 80s thing. You know, Eddie Van Halen, Michael Landau, all those kind of guys. And that one sounds really sweet, and I believe that is the entire tour of the MD-500 without actually getting into any in-depth tweaking or anything like that. You can see there are so many sounds in there. You can absolutely go nuts with this and dial in some really fresh sounds as well as some classic sounds. For me, this kind of replaces like a whole rack of old, vintage rack modulation stuff. There's the tri-chorus in there, there's the Roland Dimension D. I reckon this is worth buying just for the Dimension D, because they are so expensive secondhand now, and this thing kind of nails it straight out of the box. Plus you've got all the classic pedal effects like the Boss CE1, the different flanger types. There's a Phase 90 in there, which is really, really important, and all the vibes, vibratos, tremolo, that kind of stuff. I don't use a lot of those effects a lot of the time, so I don't really know what to play with those, but the Dimension, the pitch detune, the tri-chorus, and the flanger and phaser, as well as the uni-vibe, to me, they're like staples. So considering what it would cost to buy each of those pedals on their own, you're getting a bargain with this MD-500, and it's so easy to use. I haven't even read the manual, and I'm an idiot, so I'm up and using it as well. And you can either use this sort of deep editing menu, or you can just sort of go with the main controls, and do this until it sounds good. So that is the MD-500. Please check out my other videos, because I'm looking at the DD-500 and the RV-500. They both do similar things in their respective domain, and I'll have a few other videos featuring all the pedals coming up. So if you enjoyed this one, be sure to hit subscribe. Again, a huge thank you to Mega Music for hooking me up with these pedals. Check them out online if you're in Australia and you want to buy one of these, and well done, Boss, for dragging amazing functionality and great sounds into the 21st century. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment and hit the subscribe button. All your support goes a long way to building this channel up. Thank you so much.